question.
Son,
How was your son?
you got to sit down over here, son. Okay, sit down on the chair, please. You sit down.
How was your son?
Huh? Oh, he's 5. Say hi, man.
Oh man, I remember when he was a baby.
There you go. You sit right there.
Is that your internet or mine?
Say it again.
It said internet unstable. I was wondering, was that on my end?
I think are you on the Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
Okay, it normally will say that if you're on Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, say hi, Sabira. All right. So today, yesterday, because Ramadan started, and as you mentioned earlier, arguing is something we strive to stay away from.
Yes, sir.
An example of knowing, like when you're driving and someone cuts you off, it's just a reminder. Ramadan is very good at just kind of bringing that to mind. So I thought, what other than a real good topic to discuss than arguing within a relationship?
Ooh.
Now, one of the reasons why I think this is a real good topic, because I started doing some couple counseling. I got a certification with the Church of Scientology on communication, how to improve relationships.
Right.
So I said, well, let me start applying some of this,
Right.
And so this one couple comes, and man, look, they have a history of violence against one another.
Man.
Now, fortunately, the cops never had got involved because they just moved out of each other's house, right?
Right.
And so when they come in, she's crying, he's upset, they're on the verge, like they can't go out without wanting to just get into an argument.
Wow.
And so one of the things that I was minded to do was, I thought about Ramadan. I said, look, y'all can't argue for 30 days. Brother, when we met again, and then they've been doing this for almost 3 weeks now, and brother, their relationship, it's like they're right back to where they started when they fell in love.
Man, that's a blessing.
Just taking the arguing away. I'm like, praise be to Allah. But it really showed me how arguing really can mess up a good thing.
Yes, sir. I bear witness.
Yes, sir.
I agree 100%. Matter of fact, I'm gonna say 1,000%.
Yeah.
I bear witness, bro. And I'm gonna say, in my immaturity in the past, I was kind of like mouthy, you know what I mean? Because I grew up where we crack jokes or I don't know how you grew up, but my neighborhood in California, back, we used to just roast each other, crack jokes,
right?
And we'll go hard on each other, to hurt each other, and I admit, sometimes, I ain't gonna lie, I was one of them guys, because I used to want to be a comedian. I was good at, like roasting, cracking jokes.
Yeah.
So a lot of my fights was because I was, we call it basing back in the day. And then when I became a rapper and battle rap, I would just crack jokes, roast the person in rhyming. Wow. So I was very mouthy. So I think I talked about it last time, 2 weeks ago, when my mate say something that hurt me, I would go far and beyond. Like if she said, your mama, I would say, your mama, your daddy, your greasy old granny, and the dad one too. Yeah. I would just, and that's very, very immature. I admit that was in my head wasn't immaturity. In my head, I was just doing what I did as a youth, right, or growing up before joining the nation. But then, student minister Lee from New Orleans, he quotes something, I love what he say. He say, hurt people hurt people. So you hurt me, now I want to hurt you. Right. And when hurt people should want to heal people.
Yeah.
Because you shouldn't want somebody to feel your pain.
Yes.
Yeah.
Were you in a, like when you would get, what do you think would cause those arguments? Like if you think of some of the toughest arguments you've had with your mate.
Right.
What do you think led up to
it? It could have been finance or what we talked about last time, not showing affection, you know, or, you know, like that old Janet Jackson song, what have you done for me lately? You haven't bought me no flowers or a nice outfit, or I want to get my nails and hair done and you haven't made a budget for that. You know, something I'm just thinking about paying the bills, but, you know, charity starts at home and I'm not thinking about that. Right. And as we taught, you know, I believe the minister said a Black man can't beat a woman in arguing.
Right.
That's a natural skill for a Black woman.
Right.
You know, they roll their eyes, stump their feet, and and twist their neck. You know, you can't beat a Black woman. So, you know, me saying stuff below the belt that hurt me because I was getting whooped. I was losing the argument. Wow. You know, I'm going below the belt. I'm like Mike Tyson trying to bite an ear.
Yes.
Yeah.
Were you good, or would you say that you're good at de-escalating an argument?
No, I ain't gonna say that. No, I'm still working on it. I know one thing, Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends, Influence People.
Yeah.
And I quote this, but I'm trying to practice it and still live this. Right. He said the best way to win an argument is not to have one.
Wow.
That's the best way to win an argument, is not to have one. Because even if you win an argument, you still lost because you hurt that person. So that's a loss, you know? Right. Like a debate. The minister was talking about Dr. Wesley. He said, you won plenty of debates, you won. But at the same time, you lost.
That's deep.
Yeah. Because, you know, that's why in the nation, we're taught to not to debate. We're taught to have deliberative dialogue. Right. Because when we debate with people, even if we won, we still lost. Right. Because we didn't change their perspective. And it's just like a woman putting you down as a man, even though she may feel good, but she lost because she lowered your image or your self-esteem as a man. Right. I had a wife tell me one time, you ain't no FOI, you a junior FOI. And she said, we got a junior FOI teaching the junior FOI. Man, that was that hurt. Yeah. And all I could do is bleep it and say, I was like Donald Duck saying every curse word in the book. Because, man, you tell me I'm not a man? Right. I'm not even a FOI. I'm a junior FOI teaching FOI. Man, that's like being told in the streets you're a punk.
Right. I see what you mean.
Yeah, I was like, wow.
See what you mean.
That hurt.
I mean, and you coming and you being a good roaster. I mean, if a lot of people, I mean, your roasting is not easy.
Right.
You got to be quick with it.
Right.
You got to go for the jugular when you
right. Hey, you know, one time nephew Tommy played a prank on Ricky Smiley. Mm-hmm. And Ricky Smiley was, you know, he was upset. And he said, you know, I don't know how he said it. Basically, he said things is different when it's on the other foot. You know?
Yeah.
No, this is what he said. He said, I could dish it, but I can't take it. That's what he said.
Wow.
Yeah, sometimes, I'm good at roasting, but like I said, it's been sometimes I lost. And then, you know, you be mad and want to fight. So, you know, she cut me.
Yeah.
Yeah, she cut me with one of them samurai swords.
Yeah.
Man, I felt like confetti after that. I'm like, wow. Yeah.
It's very difficult seeing ourselves. You know, and it's interesting how you said that the best argument to have is, is to not have one.
Right.
I really do believe that if I would have been less argumentative, because this was my situation, Brother Damon, and this was pretty much across the board in my three main relationships that I've had in my life. And it's been, I would see something is going to happen. I said, listen, I think you should do A, B, or C. They wouldn't listen. So then time would pass on and they'd be like, man, you were right. I should have did it the way you said it. So that would happen quite a bit. And so it would anger me, would get me angry that, well, why don't you just listen to me? And then I have to say to myself, well, damn, maybe she's just doing this because this is how I am with what I know is right.
Wow.
You know, and as I reflect back on my relationship, like particularly my first one, man, I really fucked that one up. I really could have been so much better. You know where I messed up at, Brother Damon? I remember, because she came into the nation, she was already a modest woman.
Right.
Not like there's a whole lot I had to teach, she had to learn. And one time we were going to a meeting and I said, you know, well, you don't have the right clothes, you know, stay home. And her father got real mad at me. Her dad said, you're supposed to buy her the clothes. I said, damn, you're right. You know, so that let me know that my expectation is supposed to have been tied to my ability to provide it for her. So, and that's where I messed up at.
Yeah, you know, default and duty.
Yeah.
The minister said, and I bear witness, I experienced that too as well. We get mad as men because we know, you know, we talked about 2 weeks ago, men are the maintainer of women.
Right.
And it hurt us as men because we know by nature we are supposed to be the providers and protector. And when we short and not able to do it, it kind of bruise our ego, our pride, you know? So yeah, man, I bear witness. One of the worst things a woman could do is throw in a man's face what he's not doing. You know, it's like you have a pie, it's your favorite pie, you love that pie. And she like, oh, baby, you love this pie? You're like, yeah, this is your favorite pie? You're like, yeah. And then she smash you with it.
Right in the
face. You're like, oh, man.
Oh, man. That's deep, brother. You know, so let me ask you this, Brother Damon. With arguing, do you think men should argue with their wives?
No, sir. Remember, I just quoted Dale Carnegie. The best way to win an argument is not to have one.
Yes, sir.
And one thing the minister said him and Mother Khadijah do, and I tried it. It didn't work on my end, but I think we should try. Yeah. He said him and Mother Khadijah, and I saw this on the episode of Cosby Show. It blew my mind. After I heard the minister say it, I saw Cliff Huxtable and Clara Huxtable do this.
Yeah.
They both had a notepad. And they waited to the one finish, and they said they stated their case.
Yeah,
you know, and they didn't talk, they didn't interrupt each other. But you know, Cosby Show, they had to have a little, you know, make it a little funny, you know.
Yeah.
When she was saying stuff, he started writing down, and she's like, "What are you doing?" He like, "What are you doing?" Because he was writing. He said, "I'm writing down some stuff you just said I don't like." She said, that's not how it works. But yeah, I think that approach with the minister and Mother Khadijah do, we should do that. You know, just take it, you know, listen. And then, you know, and write it down. Because when you write stuff down, it's formulating your thoughts.
Right.
You know, like in the ministry class, we're taught we should prepare our lecture. Not just to get on the rostrum, you know, and talk. You know, the minister could do that because he studied for many years.
Right.
You know, and just like the best rappers, they write a rap. They don't freestyle. Because when you freestyle, sometimes you might get off subject.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, so when you write it down, you know, as we're taught, we think 5 times before we speak. So when you're writing, you got to really formulate and think, you know, what you're going to say and how you're going to say it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So I think that's the way, in back to the word, deliberative dialogue. Not to have an argument, not to have a debate. Say, baby, let's have a deliberative dialogue. You know, we write down what we have to say.
Right.
I won't say nothing, you know, till you make your point, and you don't say nothing till I make my point. You know, right. And then if that don't work, then get a mediator.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right. And you know, with this one couple I'm working with, they were, you can tell that they loved each other, because even before they came and we started talking and discussing a plan of action for them, they were already trying to find something to do to stop the arguments from happening. They were already trying to find, but it wasn't working.
Right.
You know, and so as we revisited the no arguing, what I learned is I was reminded of why, as you said, it's really not good to argue at all, because as you see it, Brother Damon, in an argument, what do you think is at stake in an argument that makes it so detrimental?
Pride and ego, you know, emotion. You know, we get into our feelings.
Right.
You know, and you know, as they say, God gave us 2 ears for a reason and 1 mouth for a reason. Gave us 2 ears to listen and 1 mouth to talk. Right. Most times we don't listen. We listen to talk. You know, we're not sincerely giving this person our undivided attention. She like, well, you ain't a man. So I'm listening to what she's saying. I'm like, all right, I'm not a man, but you ain't a woman. You know, you don't cook like my mama. My mama cooked better than you. You need to join the cooking class with my mama. And then she's all, well, you ain't nothing like my daddy. My daddy was a provider, you know. You know, he worked 2-3 jobs. You got your little Mickey Mouse job thinking you bring some money in, you know. And we argue now. It turned into the Wild Wild West.
Right.
And you know, be like, well, my mama said I shouldn't have married you. Well, my daddy said I shouldn't have married you, and my ex-boyfriend, your ex-boyfriend. Right. What you got to do? Right. You still talking to him? What you mean? Yeah. Yeah, you know, and she threw that in to hurt you.
Right.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true. But sometimes, man, a lot of times we say stuff that we should not say.
Right.
Within a relationship, man.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I believe that, you know, having a meeting, like if you're having it, if something is that issue, like in the Holy Quran, when Allah speaks about, if it gets to a point to where they can't see eye to eye, both of them are supposed to get a mediator, one from her family and one from his family.
Right.
Okay. And then they sit down and discuss it. Because these 2 people both love the one that they're in the family with.
Man.
And it's just so much better, because in an argument, many times it's like all we're basically doing is just saying what we believe and see the other person is doing that's making me feel bad.
Right.
How they're messing it up. And many times after listening to them, I'd be like, is that true what she's saying about you? Like, yeah. And is this true what he's saying about you? She'd be like, yeah, it is true. But we get locked in the fight because there's no mediator. There's no referee.
Right.
No. And so did you ever at a point in your relationships get some type of mediation or counseling?
Yes, I know. I'm gonna tell you this. My first marriage, my first ex-wife, she wanted to go to counseling, and I was very gun ho. I'm like, back then, I ain't going to no devil telling me nothing. All we got to do is watch a video and listen to one of the minister's tapes, And by the time I was open to try to save our marriage, it was like the Titanic. It was already sinking.
Wow.
She was already mentally gone, done with me, and I tried with my second marriage, I saw that, and we did premarital counseling before we got married, and she was just fed up with me. She was like, you know what? We go to counseling, you be good for a week, then you back to your old ways. But it's easy to look from the outside in to point what the other person doing, because she didn't see what she was doing wrong. All she saw what I was doing wrong.
Wow.
If I'm going back to my old ways, what are you doing for me to go back to it?
Right.
And that's why you said that's important about the mediator, because the two couples, they could be saying the exact same thing, the right thing, but they're not listening to each other because they upset with each other. But somebody from the outside come in and they like, yeah. Because it was things I said to my first ex-wife, and she kind of blew me off. Then when we went to our local minister, and he was saying some stuff, and she was, oh, yeah, that's right. I'm like, hold up.
Yeah.
I said
that. Right.
I'm like, I said that. I'm like, why you, and then I'm mad, like, you gonna listen to him, but I said that.
Right. And
she said, it's different coming from him. Yeah. I said, it's only different because it came from him.
Right.
Yeah, you didn't want to hear it from me.
It's funny you say that, brother Damon, because brother Cedric, when I was attempting to make my second marriage work, I called him one time because we were having an argument, and he said, brother, he said, can you read a book that's real close to your face? I said, no, you can't. He said, why? He said, because it's just too close for me to see it. He's saying, so, in so many words, what you're looking at, it could save you, but it's too damn close to you. And so he said, that's the same way it is in our relationships. We could be telling someone the truth about a thing or about them or about ourselves, but because we're so close in proximity to each other, we can't see it.
Right.
So it's almost like you can be blind. You're blinded. Something about sex blinds you.
Yeah,
the minister
said that. He said that. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he said sex blinds us.
Yeah, that's right.
It does something to us mentally. Yeah, that's real.
I remember seeing those the like videos or movies of times in the past, like in the 50s and 40s. In some cases, man and woman would have a separate room or sleep in separate beds, especially some of the white families.
Right.
And I used to say to myself, that's weird.
Yeah, I used to want to say that too. Yeah, what was that? That show, like I Love Lucy.
Yeah.
Ricky and Lucy slept in separate beds, and then the other guy, was it Dick Van Dyke? I don't remember his show, but I remember when I was little watching his show, and even though I was young, I was like, it didn't seem right.
Right.
Yeah, it didn't seem right. But what's your point of that?
Well, this is the thing. I don't really have a point with it, but I know that when it comes to being, when we have a sexual partner, when we're having sex with our mates, that relationship will blind you. So I imagine it's trying to have some type of distance between the two. Because I really think that's what a mediator does. He just puts some distance between you. And many times when I would argue with my wife or my ex-wife, Brother Jeffrey said this. This was when we were doing auditing.
Right.
He said, sometimes one thing you got to do is just go outside. He said, because we love to argue. I said, well, damn, that is so damn true. And if I could have just got a hold of that thing, like just listen to her and not even really like have a need to say anything back, I'd probably still be married. You know, but I never learned that.
Yeah, right.
You know, and the reason why I brought that up, brother, is because it's like having that space. I wish I would have had that space before she had to make space. You know, and because it really hurts, because, and you mentioned it too, like she sees it here, then I kind of get to where she sees it. Now she's already here. And then it's like, bam, we're never at the same place. Like, why do you think it takes us longer to see it?
And why it takes us men longer to see it?
Yeah.
Man, that's a great question, brother. And I don't have the answer for that. I don't know.
That's tough.
Yeah, because, man, you know, I know every marriage I look at, I saw the roles I play. One thing, it's like an old game field. You know, you play basketball, I play football. And one thing I remember one of my coaches used to say, study yourself. You know, not only the good plays you made, but also the bad plays. Yeah. And I would see how I missed a tackle, how I got juked out by a wide receiver, or I slipped, you know, because he did a little move, and how I was too off or I was up too close. I saw my mistakes. So I look back, you know, and to share with you, this past October, I started going to therapy with a brother, and he told me, and I heard it before, because I went to a therapy a couple of years ago before, and I was told the same thing, that I usually push women away, you know, like the women I'm with away, to protect myself, because I don't want to get hurt, or when things get bad, I tend to tell them to leave, or I don't want to be with them, but I really don't mean it.
Right.
So basically, I'm still pushing them away to protect myself, because I have abandonment issues. Because you know, a lot of us don't want to admit it. We got a lot of psychological issues from our childhood. It's either because our father wasn't there, or if he was there, he didn't play a good significant role in our lives, or how we was treated by our mothers. All that affect us. Or our friends, our peers we hung with, that become a part of our lives. So as a man, like I said before I joined the nation, I never thought about getting married till I joined the nation, you know, because that's promoted, you know, like it says in the Quran, marriage is half your faith. And the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, a man without a woman is handicapped, and a woman without a man is handicapped. He says, like both of y'all having one leg. You know, both of y'all got one leg, and he said, y'all connect together, y'all can hop along because you got two legs.
Right.
Yeah. You know, you got the right leg, you know, and she missing the right leg, she got the left leg. Together, you got both of your legs.
Right.
You know, and it says in the Bible, when you get married, you become one. You become one flesh.
That's right.
But most times we don't become one flesh. You know, we still think as individuals, and thinking like individuals make us single.
Right.
Yeah. We're not thinking like married couples.
That's right.
Yeah, we still thinking like single people. You know, she like, well, I'm not gonna pay the electric bill. I'm gonna go ahead and get my hair and nails done without discussing it with the husband.
Right.
He said, man, I've been one of them gators or in that new suit for the longest. I know I gotta pay Cardinal. I'm just gonna go ahead and make a sacrifice without talking to her. And then both of y'all argue. The electric bill not paid, and the car note not paid.
Right.
The light's about to be cut off and the car about to get repossessed. But if y'all would have communicated.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right, brother. That's right. You know, with this couple, when you taking the arguing away and finding a goal, because they used to live together and now they're separate, but they have a child together. You know, and the reason they separated is because like it got physical.
Man.
And so one thing is like, once you're not arguing, whatever you're basically where they were at when they started is where they are now. And like what you mentioned, even when we start and fall in love, we got so many psychological issues that it's going to eventually come up in the relationship because it's how we are. And no matter how attractive the person is, it's not going to be strong enough for us to really deal with it. It's not like it goes away. You know, and you spoke about abandonment. How did your how did those issues, how did they come about, and how did they start to manifest in your relationships?
It manifests when we got married. Once I got married, and then when things started getting rough.
Yeah.
You know, I was subconsciously pushing her, you know, I'm gonna say all of them. Subconsciously, I started pushing them away because of fear. You know, I don't want to get hurt, you know, or thinking, well, she's dissatisfied with me. She's probably gonna leave me. I'm just help her leave.
Right.
You know, that's not what my thoughts, but maybe, I don't know. You know, sometimes
I see what you mean.
You just do things, you don't know why you're doing it.
Right.
Or you say something, you don't know, like, I don't know why the heck I said that. You know, or you say you want a divorce, but you didn't really mean it. You didn't want a divorce. Next you know, you getting served.
Right.
You know, and then you like, we can't work it out? Nope. Why not? Because you say you want a divorce, and you know, ain't nothing more powerful than the made up mind is in my mind and my heart to get a divorce.
That's right.
And then sometimes women think, you know, they could do better.
Yes, sir.
You know, even though they got us outnumbered, they still think a knight in shining armor gonna come up on that white horse, and pick them up and carry them off in the sunset.
Yes, sir. So as you talked about your abandonment issue, like one issue I had, brother, was I saw my mother disappointed a lot.
Wow.
Like I would see my father, my mom would be getting ready to do something, or I'd be getting ready to do something with my father. He wouldn't show up sometimes.
Wow.
I'd be hurt. I mean, like really hurt. And I would hear how I would see my mother's disappointment. I grew up with a lot of that. Watching her being disappointed and watching my father be overreact to things. One of my earliest memories or recalls, and when I got audited, it was an incident like that where my father just like she said something to him. This is what I remember: is my mother said something to him, and all I see him is he come in the room and start throwing cans at my mom.
My mom?
Yeah, no, at my mom. And so I, you know, as a young boy, I just hearing her cry a lot and seeing them fight. That really fucked with me. It fucked with me so much, brother, because whenever there was a fight, I wanted to stop it. When I grew up, I wanted to fight my father because I was just wanted to just stop them from fighting so that we could just have some fucking peace.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that fucked with me. And I didn't know it fucked with me a lot.
Right.
Until disagreements came about. People were gonna fight. I have to stop myself from stopping fights.
Right.
Because I may get involved with some shit I shouldn't get involved in.
Right.
And he would remind me of the thunder. So when thunder hits, it would remind me of my father.
Wow.
That's how I would feel because I was so afraid of him, of what he was going to do, you know. And so I took a lot of those problems into my relationships, and I really didn't like. And then the right one, which was my second wife, she was so dramatic like my father. It just brought all that shit out of me.
Wow. Wow.
And all it takes is the right one.
Right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
My first one, she didn't do that to me. Calm. She didn't want to fight. She wanted peace loving.
Man.
And it was a quality that I really valued because I didn't think it was, I didn't see it as a good quality because I was expecting her to be more like my grandmother. I had all these expectations because my mom she wasn't as affectionate like my grandmother was. So I was needy in that sense. You know, I was like expecting her to be like more like assertive when it came to affection.
Right. And
it was just a setup. And I made my own self dissatisfied by expecting that. You know? You're right, man. We can come into we go into our relationships. We got all this childhood shit, man. And it goes away temporarily, then it comes right back. And it really,
and, you know, and like I said, I never thought about getting married till I joined the nation. You know, and you know, I said it, and you know, I started banging when I was 13 to age 19 when I joined the nation. And you know, I'm not going to curse, but it's a lifestyle that we put women in a category, you know, you call them the B words, or I'm going to say tricks and hoes and scrumptious tarts. You know, we never respected women, and we looked at them as an object. I mean, you know, you bumper switch, ran trains, you know, or, you know, holler at my girl, see if she give you some, just lie and say I'm cheating on her, and you know, and then next you know, your homeboy hit it, you know, it's like, so I never thought about, you know, I didn't have no examples of marriage till I joined the nation. And then I looked at the NGT like chase women, you know, very pure women, not compared to the women in the streets.
Right.
But I guess subconsciously, because of my experience in the world, it was hard for me to really submit and trust a woman.
Man, that's deep, brother.
Yeah, because all the women the longest relationships was my marriages. You know, I think when I was in the world, the longest I dated a girl was 8 months, and then she ended up cheating on me, you know, and then, you know, and that was probably the first time I was faithful to a female.
Right,
I'm like, I'm faithful to you, and you cheating on me. You know who I am?
Yeah.
I'm a gangster. You gonna cheat on me? Yeah. So
it'd be the ones you really like too.
Yeah. Man. So yeah, the example I had was into the nation. I'm like, man, you know, I was telling the brother, I said, man, it's sad. I could stay at a job that I hate for years, you know, and go to work every day, clock in and work like I like the job, you know.
Right.
But I can't stay that long in a marriage. I said, you know there's something wrong with me. And then I thought it was from my street mentality, like I don't trust women because what I experienced in the world. They told me, the therapist told me it was abandonment issues.
Abandonment, yeah.
Yeah, I'm scared to let a woman get close.
Right.
You know, and maybe it is to protect myself from getting cheated on, or thinking she gonna leave me.
That's deep. That's deep, brother. That's deep.
Yeah.
That's deep.
So what should a man like me never get married again? You know,
because in one sense, and I do something similar. For me, what I do is I fuck it up. I mess it up. I do something to mess it up. And it's not like, it's like I do it and I like, why am I doing this? And it's like, if I don't get this shit right, how am I gonna get close to the God? It's like I'm trying to get close to him, but it's like I'm gonna sabotage my own relationship.
Man.
Like when you said it like that, brother, it just like clicked. It's like, damn, that's deep. It's different hearing it from someone else because, you know, I've come to realize this about myself. And this is why I like doing this, because it's so necessary.
Right.
Because these are just conversations we never had, man.
Right.
Conversations. I'm going to tell you, my dad, you know, the only advice my dad gave me about women, I was 16 years of age. And my father, he told, because I guess he realized I was having sex. He was like, if you're ever about to have sex, and this is some good ass advice too. So if you're about to have sex and you don't have a condom, man, go get some paper towel and masturbate into the towel because you don't want to risk catching a disease or getting someone pregnant. Now, as funny as I thought that was, I see why he told me that. Because my father, he had me and my sister, he was married, and he never had children out of wedlock. And from what I saw, he never presented another woman to my sister or me, likewise with my mother. So I kind of made fun of the advice because it was funny. Like, okay, you're gonna tell me to back off into a piece of paper, but I get it. I get it. It's like I was expecting my father to give me things the way I think I should have got them. And this troubled me a lot, Brother Damon, because I thought he should have taught me how, and this was me judging my father. I was so judgmental of him because once he killed himself, it was just so much judgment started coming up out of me because he and my mom divorced when I was like 12, and I didn't get around him again until I was like 17, 18. And I had joined the nation. So all that childhood stuff, it started coming up. And I did not know how to handle it. I didn't know how to handle it. I was judgmental of him. I judged him. I judged the stuff that he said. And I finally realized I'm judging myself.
Brother, man, you hit something on the nail. Judging, being judgmental. I remember one time I got an argument with my dad, and I said, I'm never going to be like you. Because my dad had, I got two big brothers I never met, then me, then my little sister, and my two little brothers, they're only ones that had the same mom. So he had, 5 or 6 children by 5 different women.
Yeah.
And then he made mockery, said he might have more because he was in the military, he was in the Navy. But, 6 that I know about. So 6 children by 5 different women I know about. And I said, I was judging him by that. We got in an argument like, you having all these children by all these different women. And he thought it was funny. I'm a player, I'm a pimp, Yeah. And then he said, marriage ain't for everybody. So that is a key in for me.
Yeah.
Marriage ain't it. Marriage is not for everybody. And guess what? How I judge my dad, even though I have children out of marriage, all my children is born out of marriage, but I became my dad.
Wow.
I have been married 3 times, got 4 children, right? From 3 different marriages.
Wow.
He got 6 children by 5 different women. I got 4 children by 3 different women.
Oh, wow. I see what you mean.
So subconsciously, the man I was judging, I became.
Wow.
I became. So I was like, wow. Only thing different, I'm married to him.
Right.
I was married to him. But I'm just like him.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I understand why Jesus said, judge not or ye should be judged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ain't that something?
Yeah.
And it's that important. Like, even with the problems I had in my marriages, the problems my dad had with my mom.
Wow.
And if I wouldn't have been so judgmental of them, but I didn't know how not to be judgmental. I didn't know how not to be judgmental. It's really hard to not know because you think you're justified.
Right.
And because I thought I'm just talking about how my father affected me, and I was, but what I was doing was I was just living on the worst part. That's really what I was doing. I was living on the worst part because a lot of the stuff that I got auditing about was some of the, of course, it's the worst things that have happened to you. And so I would use those to judge him. And it's like, no, my father was very creative. He was one of the first, he was the one that reason why we celebrate Martin Luther King in Texas was because of my father. There was so much about him that I buried because of all that goddamn trauma.
Wow.
So I see what you mean, brother. Say it again, son. No.
Sorry.
Yeah. So, brother, let me ask you this. Because I think this sometimes that maybe like if I can't get it right those times, will I get it right the next time? Do you think there's a stigma that we get after we get divorced?
Say that again.
Do you think there's some type of self-stigma or stigma that we get when we divorce? Like, do you think it gets harder the next time to try and do it? Or do you think, you know what? I'm gonna keep going at it. I'm gonna go and give it a try.
I think it get harder, brother. Yeah,
I'm on the phone, son.
They say once you get divorced, how you show the quote that the stat that 80% all marriage end by divorce.
Yes.
It's higher than that. The second and third time.
Wow.
So it's just like people going to prison. They said the first time somebody go to prison, they scared, they frightened.
Yeah.
But once they experience that, they don't have that fear or that fright.
Oh, you're freezing on me. Sit down. You're freezing on me. Okay, there you go. You're back. You froze for a second. Oh, you're frozen again.
Freezing up on your end. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're both freezing up. I hear you now.
Yeah.
Repeat that point again.
They were saying, when people go to prison, the first time they're afraid, they're scared, but once they go after the first time, it's easier to go the second and third, fourth time because they already lived through that trauma.
Wow.
Same with divorce. Once you experience the pain and overcome it, you kind of like nonchalant, like I got a divorce the first time,
Wow.
So it is. Yeah, we need mental health, but both parties got to want it too,
That's true.
I mean, I know I need to, our study guides called self-improvement. So I know I got to improve myself, work on myself, but the other person got to, work on themselves too,
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying?
That's right.
Because I could say I played, a significant factor in my divorces, but they gotta also see what they did wrong.
Right.
Because it takes two to tangle.
That's true. That's right.
Even if I'm 75%, you're 25%, Stu, your 25% could have created the 75%. Yeah. So yeah, they everybody gotta look in the mirror.
Right.
And what you said earlier, man, I can't really remember that part you was talking about. You was talking about looking from the outside in. It's easy to judge somebody, from the outside because it's not you. And it made me think about that scripture about Jesus said, before you tell the person to take the mote out their eye,
right?
First take the one out your eye. You know, we got to look at the man and the woman in the mirror. You know, before you could point somebody else's faults and shortcomings, what about yours?
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So both parties got to look at themselves.
That's right.
And I never got married with the intentions to get divorced, bro. Allah's my witness. You know, I'm gonna say my first marriage, I was a little immature. I was like, cause you know, being young, you know, and then you know, a fireball in the ranks, and I was rapping back then. I was still doing music. I was arrogant and ignorant. Yeah. You know, I was like, sure, I'll give me a new one. You know, and nobody should never have that thought, male or female. I could get a new person. Wow. You know, and but like I said, I never went into marriage with the thought of getting divorced. But my first one, I was kind of like that, you know, like she leave me, I'll get a new one. But you know how law works? When she left me, I you know, I didn't remember how hard I took it. My family and my close friends remind me like, oh man, bro, you was always crying. I was like, I was? See, I erased that out of my memory. Wow. You know, I was like, I don't remember that. And my mom told me, son, I remember. She said, I used to just hold the phone and listen to you boo-hoo and go on and on. And I'm like, man. But I knew that was really my fault back then, you know, because my ignorance, you know, I didn't do God, family, then nation. I did God, nation, then family. I put her on the back burner. Yes, likewise. And the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said, if our wives leave us or cheat on us or whatever they do, at the end of the day, it's our fault. Yeah. So maybe I was crying and booing so hard because I knew it was my fault. I pushed her away. Wow. I pushed her away. Yeah. And same with the other relationships. I look at it and like, man, I could have handled that a lot differently. I could have said that. I could have did this, you know, but because of pride, you know, I'm like, I ain't say nothing. She said she was leaving. I didn't try to stop her, you know. I felt she would leave, so I'm gonna let her go. Right.
Oh, froze on me. You're okay. Okay, we're back on it. Move. Okay, are you frozen? Yeah, you're frozen again. I'm gonna wait till you. There you go.
Did you hear me?
Yeah, I know. I did. Whatever you said in the last 15 seconds, it was unstable, the internet connection.
Yeah, I said I didn't try.
Yeah, I see what
you know. When she decided to leave, I let her go. Didn't try.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
because I said,
you know,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you go. I was cut. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say, hey, she want to leave. Must be in her heart to leave. So I'm not gonna stop her.
Yeah. Yeah. I see what you mean. And sometimes I feel like that. I know like when I saw my first one go, I was like, I could at least ran after her or something, you know. But you know how it is. You know, we like, if you don't leave, you go on and just leave. You know, because in my mind, I'm thinking like, I know I'm right. You know, I'll get someone that like we get into that thinking that, and it's just it's a mark. I was very ungrateful. As I look at my first relationship, I was very ungrateful. I was very ungrateful, man. I was very ungrateful, and I was blind. I thought I knew more than I did, and I didn't. If I did, I probably would still be married. You know, brother, this hour seems to just go by so fast.
Yeah, brother. You know, I look at these interviews as Brother Jabril and the minister. Yeah. Closing the gap is interviews. Yeah, it's like straight wire. I mean, I'll be honest with y'all. I'll be looking forward to this because it's like straight wire.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we doing straight wire, but we recording and we're auditing each other.
That's right. That's right.
And not only that, we sharing our testimony for other men.
Right.
Not to make the same mistakes. Because we always think we could learn from somebody doing something good. Like somebody said, Steve Harvey can't tell me nothing. He's been married 5 times. He could tell me a lot.
Right.
You know what? I want to see the bad mistakes he made. So I know not to make them. Right. So just that's what me and you doing. You know, it's always good to see the good. But we need to look at the bad too. So it's say, I'm not gonna do what he did. That's right. You know, remember when we were children, they said don't put your hand on the oven because it's hot. Mm-hmm. Some of us had to. Right. You know, some let me see if it's hot. Some of us did it. And then others watched and they said, he burnt his hand. I'm not gonna do what he did. So it's a lesson. That's right. Yeah, well, you know, lessons are blessings. So yeah, we live and we learn. So we can learn from the mistakes and faults of other people. Yes, sir. That's why it's in the Bible. All the, you know, some of the prophets made mistakes and errors, and we can learn from them and say, "Oh, I'm not going to do that." That's right. Yeah, that's right. Well, brother, I look forward to having this discussion with you again. And over the week, I want you to give a suggestion as who you would like to have on. You know, it's a brother. I don't know. Are you friends with him, Brother Nasir Shabazz? Muhammad, maybe yeah, probably do like a group message, me and you and him on Facebook. Yeah, that's fine. Because he posts a lot of stuff on relationships. Okay. And it'd be good to hear his view. Okay. You know. Well, is there a particular topic that you really would like to hear him discuss? I'll let you. I like how you flow with it. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'll look in. I'll check him out. Send me. He said Nasir. Yeah. Is that with an S or a Z? With an N. Oh, with an N? Yeah. Nisir. Oh, Nisir. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Check him out real quick. Nisir. It is Nasir Shabazz. Muhammad. Nasir. And it's just Muhammad? I think it's Nasir Shabazz Muhammad. Let me see. I shared one of his posts on Facebook. Where he at? I just shared it. Is he School of Hard Knocks? School of Hard Knocks? Nasir Shabazz Muta Muhammad. I see him. Okay, yeah, I see him. Yeah, he got look like an A's hat. Yeah, I see him. Okay, yeah, I'll check him out. Yeah, he posts a lot on relationships. Okay. And he got a lot of strong, because he you know, it'd be good to bring him on because he more touch on the sister side. Yeah. Okay. Because most of his followers is sisters. Yes, sir. Check them out, brother. We'll have them on. They might boycott us. But yeah, he'd be a good brother to bring on. Very well. All right, brother. Thank you for your time, brother. You're very welcome, brother. Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum salam.